National Bank of Greece. Good afternoon. I would like to thank you for the invitation. Let us congratulate the organizer for this very nice conference. I hope that all will find the issues of this conference very interesting. Let me start by speaking about what the National Bank is doing in the energy map of the country. In various cases, we have seen that the National Bank nowadays is pioneer in the Greek market as regards financing energy projects. Our energy portfolio nowadays reaches 2.6 billion euros. If we consider the approved, the non-approved limits due to maturity reasons, we manage a 5 billion portfolio. During the last year, we have expanded to 9% plus, and since 2019, in aggregate, a 26% expansion as regards the RES sector. The National Bank has a long story in financing investments in this sector beyond for more than 25 years. Nowadays, we have the largest financing share in the market, 40%, and we are present in all types of technologies. We also include innovative technologies in our portfolio, like, for example, CCP or LNG. So traditionally, for us, in brief, you understand that energy transition is a long-term development target where we want to further enhance our presence and be besides our customers in order to support their development plans in the new situation and the new target models as has been legislated recently and started operating in November 2020. Now, as regards the pillars of our credit expansion, we have two dimensions. The first regards the continuation of the very competitive financing schemes or in the form of subsidies in the framework of RAE tenders. Here we expect the expansion of the scheme proportionally to what happens in the European markets. Until 2025, we expect we'll have to tender approximately 3 gigawatts. This is what we expect in this transitional period. At the same time, we deepen our technical knowledge as regards PPAs, essentially in order to understand deeply which are the functional dimensions as you described them in your introduction, in order to introduce them in our financing solutions. The transition is necessary, is the only way towards the sustainable future. So we believe that the PPAs are the very functional tools to use towards this direction. The Greek banks introduce a know-how from other countries or continents. Know-how exists. And let me give you an example. In 2019, we had a global 19.5 billion contracts. And in 2020, we had further repos at a similar amount for 24 gigawatts. Nowadays, we are changing from the one model to the other in terms of financing schemes. So I would like to focus on the two main trends in the market. Of course, we have seen a de-escalation of the previous models, as we saw in the recent tenders, in combination to the limited quantities, urges the transition to the target model, so the banks have to adapt very quickly to the new market situation, conditions. The second trend that we see in the new framework is the so-called technical pooling of projects. In other words, the creation of portfolios that include subsidized projects and projects that will be under PPA schemes. Actually, this mixture ensures the possibility to utilize all the instruments in the market and all the types of financing that are traditional or innovative. Based on the previous models that we have used until today. As you mentioned in your introduction, the financial institutions have to be adapted to the technical characteristics of the PPAs. Here we're not speaking about broad, rather standardized contracts. We speak about customized contracts that will cover specific needs of the contracting parties. Thus, we don't have the one rule fits all recipe. We need to become more inventive as to how we can tackle the various risks. I don't want to be very technical in my speech. You already mentioned some of the critical dimensions. I'm just saying that the market has been very aggressive in financing projects up to marginally 20 years of time with very competitive interest costs and with a good quotation of borrowing percentages. But I believe that we need to find ways in order to remain competitive as regards the offered financing in a way that will ensure paying back the capital of the financing schemes. As you mentioned, the life of duration of the contracts is one parameter to consider, the off-takers' capacity another, as well as their history in previous projects. Obviously, the Greek banks in this area has also to tackle the results, the outcomes of the financial crisis in the country, where many of the off-takers have turned to external financing solutions. So the cyclicity that this creates has to be managed. Also, we need to see to foresee the flows of paying back the financial instruments that will be utilized, that this has to be also considered. You mentioned the balancing mechanism, so that we can balance out the provisions to include within the sensitivity scenarios in our contracts, based on the conditions in the market, the equipment of the project, the weather conditions, etc. Last but not least, we need to consider the set of legal safeguards, like, for example, reimbursement clauses or the off-takers balancing clauses that have to be considered in considering the risk of financing, plus the configuration of the specific loans so that they reach sustainable solutions, both for the loan takers and the banks. The National Bank of Greece supports green energy. We want to invest in this sector. We want to be pioneers in this industry. We have invested a lot, both in terms of money and human capital. We have a very dynamic team that follows the developments in this industry. So we believe that we are very ready. We are ready to enter a new future for a green economy. In conclusion, in trying to differentiate ourselves in what we offer to our customers, I would like to focus on the fact that beyond the typical financing that we offer to our customers, we have invested in a new exchange banking division with a specialized offer of offsetting and hedging instruments in order to cover all the needs of our customers. The National Bank of Greece is the only functional member of the clearing commodity system, which is an important thing to consider, and we are the pioneering bank in non-stock exchange solutions related to electricity or gas or other solutions.